What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today, another light review. We have the Surefire Stiletto, and we are going to compare it to the much less expensive Streamlight Wedge. Now again, right off the bat, I know these are in very, very different price brackets, but when it comes to unique form factor flashlights, these are the two that I was comparing, debating which one I wanted to get. And I figured there's other people out there wondering if they should spend the extra money on the Surefire or not. So we are going to compare all the features of these flashlights. We are going to take a look at the beam pattern, the dimensions of both of them. As always, I'll tell you the pros, cons, what I think of them overall. One of these flashlights is now my EDC flashlight, and the other one has just a small flaw. It's a fatal flaw for me, and I won't carry it just because of that fatal flaw. All right, let's get right into it. We're gonna start with lumens. Of course, the Streamlight has a dial on the side. That's the control setting. When you rock it forward, you get 300 lumens. I almost said lemons. When you push that dial even more forward, you get 1,000 lumens, but only on momentary. As far as the Surefire here, you have two different ways of controlling it. There's a tail cap button that gets you 1,000 lumens. You can either switch it from momentary or constant. No matter what you do, it's always 1,000 lumens. The Surefire also has a button here on the top that allows you to turn the light on in either low, medium, high, or high, medium, low, however you choose to program it. Next, let's talk about candela. Now, if you don't know what candela is, it's kind of the higher the candela numbers, the tighter the beam's going to be. The tighter the beam, the further the light's going to throw. And it's also going to push through different barriers, photonic barriers, like smoke and fog and things like that. So the Streamlight has 2,500-ish candela, and it's a huge wall of light. It's not very, very tight at all. The Surefire has twice that amount of candela. It's like 5,100 or somewhere in that area. So the Surefire does have a much tighter beam. Neither one of these is extremely tight. They're not throw monsters, but I let a bunch of people look at the beams, my family, people who are a little more knowledgeable about weapon lights, and they all said they thought the Surefire was twice as bright. And I think a lot of that has to do with the candela and how tight the hotspot is and how that beam shines out a little further. It really makes the light look significantly brighter than the Streamlight Wedge. Now, as far as your runtime, that's something the Streamlight definitely has one up on the Surefire. You get 3 hours, up to 3 hours on the 300 lumens, and then on the high mode, or they call it the throw mode, you get 35 seconds before it steps back down to lower lumens. Once it steps back down, you can rock it forward again if you want to get the 1,000 lumens, and again, it steps down in 35 seconds. Now, as far as your Surefire, on the 1,000 lumens, you have a 1 hour runtime. On the 300 lumens, you have 1.5 hours. And then when you kick it down to the 25 lumens, you have 23-hour runtime. So it's going to last for a very, very long time. That's a lot of talking. Controls. Both controls are pretty good. I do like the dial control on the Surefire. It's very easy, intuitive. I do like the way it feels. Again, when you bring it to the first setting, that's your constant on, that's your 300 lumens. You rock it forward, and that's your throw mode, 1,000 lumens for up to 35 seconds. There is no tail cap button on this Streamlight. Now, the Surefire, again, has that tail cap button, and as a defensive light, I like having that tail cap button. You can program this button to either be constant on or momentary. With momentary, if you give it a triple tap, as you see, it does enable strobe. I usually don't like strobe, but being it's a triple tap, never bothers me. No issues with it. The button on the front is going to be how you go into the low, medium, and high modes. Again, you can either program it to start off low, medium, high, or high, medium, low, however you want. The button next to that is the program button. I won't bore you with all the details. You can check out the review I've done on both of these flashlights if you want more deals. But by holding that button down, that allows you to switch the settings from low, medium, high, or to high, medium, low, however you want to set it up. Both the bodies are aluminum bodies. They both have a nitride finish. Through all the testing and carrying I did, I think they're both just as durable as far as the body. I don't see one that's better than the other. Of course, we did a runtime test and a recharge test just to make sure they would last as long as the company said they would. So as far as the Surefire, it's going to take around 4 hours for it to recharge, and the battery lasts about 3 hours. The Stiletto, Takes about an hour or two to recharge. It was really all over the place a little bit, but that battery only lasts an hour on the high mode, and then hour and a half on the same 300 lumens. Now, one thing that is different with the rechargers is the type of cord that it takes. The Surefire is a little older and it uses a micro USB. Nice thing there, like most people, we have 1,000 of those cords laying around the house. But it's not as fast of a charge and not as powerful. The Streamlight uses a USB-C, which I prefer. Most of my new devices, like my iPhone, my iPad, take USB-C, so I'm very, very happy that it has USB-C. It's a new sponsor of today's video to go over with you guys. This will be real quick, and then we'll move on to the dimensions and the testing and the beam pattern and all that good stuff. So the new sponsor of today's video is Paragon Weapon Light Cleaner. So I did a review on this just a little while ago. I was so impressed with this product. I took it upon myself and did a review. I had no connection to this company at all, but I really, really like how well it works. It works significantly better than other cleaning products, firearm cleaning products, the eraser, Simple Green. There's a million different remedies. I've tried them all, and I truly think a Paragon Weapon Light Cleaner works better than any of the others. There's no discount code, there's no affiliate links. I'm just putting it out there because I am a believer in the product and it works really, really well, and they asked to sponsor a video, and I said sure. So moving right along, these are the dimensions of the two lights that you can take a look at. The only thing I want to point out is the price. Price is going to be all over the place with the Streamlight. Street price $80 to $100, somewhere in that area. One of the reasons it's less expensive, it is made overseas, so if that bothers you. The Surefire Stiletto is made here in the States. It's at least twice the price. MSRP is $229, street price $200, so it's definitely a more expensive option. But if you want something made in the States, you'll have to go with the Surefire. All right, let's go take a look at the beam pattern, because that's something it shouldn't be as drastically different as it is. Looking at the reflectors and the lumens and the candela, the Surefire really looks like 10 times brighter.
Alrighty, starting off with fresh batteries. We are at 15 yards. There is the Streamlight. Here is the Surefire, both 1,000 lumens. So Surefire, Streamlight. 10 yards from that bush, here is the Streamlight Wedge. Here is the Surefire. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking it up, but to my eye, the Surefire here looks way better. Let's do this. On the left, this is the Surefire. This is the Streamlight. Surefire, Streamlight. Now roughly 5 yards from that bush, here we go with the Streamlight, Surefire, Streamlight. Do both. Left is Surefire, right is Streamlight. Second, we are in the front yard. Here is the Streamlight. That tree is 5 yards. Second tree is 10 yards. Fence is 15 yards. And this is the Streamlight. This is what the Surefire looks like. Yeah, you can really tell it's brighter out here. Streamlight again. Surefire. Well, it's technically not brighter, but it sure looks brighter. So, alright, here's the Surefire. Here's the Streamlight. Surefire. Streamlight.
Alright, let's talk about the testing that I have done. I did the exact same testing on both of these flashlights. The first thing I do is a drop test to make sure they can last 5 drops from shoulder height. The Streamlight passed all the testing I did with flying colors. The Surefire broke on the drop test. The manual says it's drop safe up to 3 feet, and I was dropping it at 6 feet, so there is that. Keep that in mind. It's in the manual, clear as day. I sent it back to Surefire. Took a week to get there. They had it for 2 weeks. Took a week to get back, so it took a month for that whole process. They sent me another one. I started the test over, and it passed the drop test on the second try. I also did a waterproof test with both of them to make sure they are waterproof. Like both companies say, 30 minutes down to 1 meter. No issues there. Again, we do the runtime test to make sure they both last as long as they should. They pretty much did. Recharge test to see how long they recharge. And both of them I do a carry test where I just stick them in my pocket for a month or so. I carry it and get a feel for what the light's all about, using it on normal everyday. You know, every night I go check on my chickens in the dark and I use my flashlight and just the normal, drop my keys, looking for something in the dark, stuff like that. I'll go over the fatal flaw in a second. I don't want to go into it. So So pro on the Streamlight that lasted all of the testing with no problem. It was a con that I had to send the Surefire back. So overall pros. The price on the Streamlight is great. The shape of it and how it fits in your pocket and how comfortable it is, super comfortable, a lot better than a standard round flashlight, and I like that it has USB-C. Moving on over to the Surefire, the tail cap button is great. I like the ability to use the button on top, you know, for just normal flashlight type stuff, drop my keys, check on the chickens, and if I have to use it for a defensive light, like if my weapon light goes down, my weapon mount light, I have the ability to use it as a defensive light as well. So I love that. It's made here in the States, and again, the shape for both of them is very comfortable to carry. As far as cons, let's do the Surefire first. The price, it's definitely not cheap. $200-ish for a flashlight is not cheap. And then eventually I would love to see them come out with a USB-C version of this. And it did break on the drop test. Streamlight, the made in China, assembled here. The parts are made in China, assembled here. Now Streamlight is a US-based company. They do employ a ton of employees here in the US, but most of their lights, the parts are made in China and assembled here for whatever that means. The fatal flaw to me though is not having a tail cap button. I personally like to use the light as a defensive tool with my fire. Well, have the ability to, not that I've ever had to. If that's not a big deal for you, disregard this. But for me, that is the fatal flaw and why I won't carry this. If this light had a tail cap button on the end, no doubt this would be my EDC light. It's a little thinner and I like the dial and the USB-C. This would be the one I chose, but it doesn't. So for now, the Surefire Stiletto is what I will have in my pocket every single day with me until I find another light that tickles my fancy. As far as the disclosure, I have zero connection to either one of these companies. I bought both of these lights with my hard-earned money, just so you know. I did used to work for Inforce, which is another light manufacturer, one of their competitors. None of that affects this review, but I always like to be upfront and honest. Before you guys go, let me quickly thank a few people. One, Paragon Weapon Light Cleaning Product. Cannot put a link down in the video description because YouTube hates freedom. Just Google Paragon Weapon Light Cleaner. Maybe check out the review that I have done on the product, because I'm not kidding. It works way better cleaning the lens of your weapon mount light than any other home remedy cleaning product. I've tried them all. It definitely works a lot better. These are the other companies who support me with affiliate links, so I always like to call them out and thank them. The coupon code, discount code, whatever is down in the video description. My Patreon supporters supply a lot of the ammo to this channel. If you're new here, I do a lot of gun and gear type reviews as well, and we burn down a ton of ammo, so having them help their support is very helpful. I started a new second YouTube channel. YouTube and Instagram is killing a lot of gun content, so I want to start a second channel if I, God forbid, ever have to use it. This one here is dedicated to all YouTube shorts, so quick, short videos, less than 60 seconds. If you want to check it out, once again, the link is down in the video description. We have Tiberious swag if you want to look goofy. Link is down in the video description. I'm on 2 social media platforms. If you want to know what I'm reviewing now before the review comes out, once again, you know where the links are. More important than any of that nonsense, let me thank you guys for watching. I say this in every video, and I truly mean it. Every time you guys like a video, comment, subscribe, enable the bell notifications, share a video, anytime you guys do any of that stuff, I truly appreciate it, and it truly helps me out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!